What's up, y'all? It's Carla, aka Cla the Poet, and happy pre-weekend to everybody. How's everybody doing? So it's Friday night, and the mood is right. Yeah. So anyway, I just finished doing overtime, maybe around 8:45, and now I can finally just relax and chill out. So I decided to do another clip. It's the new year, and I definitely have been wanting to do more content. So I figured I'd do another clip. So today I'm going to talk about social anxiety. So I'm somebody that sometimes struggles with social anxiety. It's kind of like when you're around like a lot of people, right? When you're around crowds of people, you kind of get like anxious or anxiety. You know, if there's a lot going on and you can't really hear yourself think, or, it's kind of hard to regulate your nervous system or be calm in settings where there's a lot of people, especially if there's a lot of people in like an enclosed space, right? So, like, think about going into the subway and there's a crowded train. And so it's rush hour and there's like a whole bunch of people in the train and people are pushing, right? To try to get into the train. And so you feel packed like sardines. So that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Social anxiety. So yeah, just being where there's maybe a lot of people in an enclosed space or in an area, you always get a little antsy. It's kind of like, well, for me, the way that it affects me is, you become very, very hyper aware and you're just kind of scanning, the room. There's a lot of people and you're trying to pick up vibes and you're trying to kind of, scan and see, make sure that the area is safe. You never know how people will act. You never know what people will do. And, human nature can be unpredictable sometimes. So it's like, I tend to get those type of things, like I said, when it's really, really, really crowded. Like I said, getting into a crowded subway train where people are pushing you and there's like no space and people are standing like all up on you. I don't like stuff like that. There was one time where I had an experience where I was leaving a club and it was really, really crowded, right? I mean, like hundreds of people going out or trying to go out of the front door, out of one exit. And so people are pushing you and shoving you. And I actually had to hold somebody's hand and I started shaking because I was like, damn, I don't like this. The fact that people are pushing up against me, there's no space for you to breathe. And that type of stuff, I don't like. It makes it so that you're on your defensive and stuff like that. But yeah, so I think back to what may cause, the social anxiety. Yeah, we don't live in a world that's safe, but for me, I'm thinking that it's probably because of my experiences, my traumas. I talk about these things freely because I think too often with mental health and too often with things, people don't talk about it. And so it accumulates itself until it comes out, or it's like there's just a stigma on it. And I feel like once you express certain feelings and you get it out, it's no longer stigmatized. It's you expressing your truth, right? So with my traumas, I went through an experience where I was betrayed by my family. The people that were closest to me, the people that I loved the most, they kind of stabbed me in the back. I went through a betrayal. As I spoke in other videos, I'm a DV survivor. And what happened is that I had certain family members, right? Once I started reporting my ex-husband for being abusive, I had family members that actually took his side, right? And they actually like went to court and wrote messed up stuff about me, stating that I was crazy and that I was whatever, right? And actually taking his side, trying to, get custody of my kids because I had taken him to court for custody and the divorce and stuff like that. And so instead of them supporting me, they supported him. Even though he was harming me, they supported him. And what ended up happening was that, I ended up getting custody of my children because the judge saw right through that. There was many, many things involved, psychologists and the police and ACS and all of that. But when you go through an experience like that where the people that were closest to you, that were supposed to have your back, they stab you in the back like that, then it's like now the world seems very unsafe. You don't know who to trust. You can no longer believe the best about people. You just kind of have this mindset, well, everybody is guilty until they're proven innocent, right? And it just becomes very, very hard to, trust people, right? And so I think that because of that experience that I've gone through, it kind of like affects, me having social anxiety because it's like people, the idea that there might be somebody that, may try to harm or they might be out to get me, ruin my reputation, whatever, because I've been through it in my own family. I'm the black sheep of my family, right? So, yeah, social anxiety. So, this year I'm really, really trying to combat social anxiety. I'm trying to reach out to friends more. I'm trying to talk to people that I don't usually talk to more or reach out, every once in a while to them to kind of see if, they're cool people and stuff. And maybe try to hang out with new individuals and see if they're decent. I want to do more open mics, so that I can. I love open mics. I mean, I love performing my poetry and stuff like that. I have no problem doing it. It's just just trying to practice the strength of my own voice and stuff like that. And it helps, because it's like if you can perform in front of an audience, right? And you can, speak your piece in front of, a small crowd of people or a larger crowd of people, which I have. It kind of helps break you out of anxiety, period. It kind of like helps you to be more courageous. It kind of builds your confidence. And so I'm looking into doing that. But anyway, I wonder if anybody else goes through social anxiety like I do. If you want, you can, put it in the comment section. How do you deal with it? What I find is that when I do go through it, I like, sometimes I try to draw, right? I'll have a drawing pad where I'll draw. Sometimes I have a lanyard where I'll just work on trying to weave a keychain, hold, maybe a toy or an object that kind of, helps to kind of calm me. So that's how I deal with it. All right. And that's all I have to say for now. Peace.